let's going to start just back to the Aung San Suu Kyi. For the last slide, last video, I'm going to show you the what's going on, but not most recent one. This is just dated. Oh no, very recent, September. So might be new one. So let's going to start to have a look. Then we're going to discuss. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start.
Catastrophic and completely unacceptable. The words of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres describing the attacks against Muslim Rohingya in Myanmar.
Oh, this is still going. Same situation.
Right now?
Yeah.
People flee to Bangladesh. What would it take to stop this violence? This is Inside Story.
So later maybe we have a look just now what's going on, right?
Okay.
So after viewing this video, okay?
Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Jane Dutton. Global pressure is mounting on Myanmar and its leader Aung San Suu Kyi to end the killing and displacement of Muslim Rohingya. The UN has urged the government to take immediate steps to stop the violence. Secretary General Antonio Guterres called on Myanmar's military to suspend its operation in the western Rakhine state and allow Rohingya to return to their villages. At least 400,000 people have fled to Bangladesh since the violence escalated late last month. There's a lot to get to with our guest, but first James Bays sets up our discussion from UN headquarters in New York.
These were the toughest words yet from the Secretary General on the ongoing violence in Myanmar.
I call on the Myanmar authorities to suspend military action, end the violence, uphold the rule of law, and recognize the right of return of all those who had to leave the country.
The UN knows the situation is deteriorating fast. When Mr. Guterres last spoke to reporters a week ago, there were 125,000 Rohingya refugees. That number has now tripled.
Given the situation has got so much worse in the last week, do you believe this is ethnic cleansing? Well, I would answer your question with another question. When 1/3 of the Rohingya population had to flee the country, can you find a better word to describe it?
The Secretary General has already taken the extremely rare step of writing to the Security Council urging them to take action. As he spoke, the Council was meeting, first with an open session on Somalia. It was only after that ended and they went into closed session, and when they discussed any other business, that the crisis in Myanmar was finally raised. Afterwards, the President of the Security Council read a carefully worded statement that was nowhere near as strong as the words of the Secretary General.
The members of the Security Council expressed deep concern about the situation in Rakhine State, acknowledging the initial
Rakhine State
attack on Myanmar security forces on 25th August.
Should Myanmar stop all its military operations in the state now? That's what the Secretary General says. Does the Security Council share that view?
Now, that the statement that I read out is what we have agreed.
There are some who will see that as a very weak statement.
very weak.
Some may say.
So why is the Security Council not being tougher? There's always a logjam when there's a lack of unity and when one of the permanent 5 members...
Oh, by the way, let me try to check. Logjam, Ikizumari, footage, scorched earth policy, stampede, eradicate, pussyfoot, contextual, inference, sociological, spikes, move in sync with, defective, anachronistic, institutionalized violence. spectacularly. Oh, why they got space here? Gratify. Okay, not so many difficult words. Okay, let's go into start.
As opposed to action. In this case, diplomats point to China, a long-standing ally of Myanmar's military. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
Okay, China is not against this kind of, ethnic cleansing.
For example, that Turkmenistan
What do you mean?
does ethnic cleansing.
What do you mean, Turkmenistan?
They had a big massacre in 90s, right?
Oh, no. This sort of ethnic cleansing, many places all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah, Africa has many.
Let's bring in our guests in Bangkok. Phil Robertson, Deputy Asia Director for Human Rights Watch, joining us from Yangon in Myanmar. Abdul Rashid, founder and chairman at the Rohingya Foundation Community. And in London, Wang Zhang.
Have you been seeing this? No?
No, well, to the halfway through it.
Very hot. Those guys get hot.
Hot.
Do you remember?
Kind of, yes.
Finally,
Okay.
a human rights activist. Very warm welcome to all three of you. Abdul Rashid, at this rate, are there going to be any Rohingya left in Myanmar?
Of course, still many Rohingya already left inside of the Rakhine state, but they are in a very severe situation. They are very facing huge problem for the food, as they don't have a food. So many people is on the way to Bangladesh. So many people, few days, maybe many days on the way. So without food and water. So this is huge catastrophe as well. The people facing inside the Myanmar as well.
We are hearing that almost 40% of Rohingya villages are empty. I mean, from a military perspective, that's almost a job done, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, maybe as the footages we're receiving and information we're receiving is about half of the population already destroyed, and more than 400,000 already left, went to the Bangladesh, and around 100,000 is on the way and inside the jungle and inside the mountain and the water, river, whatever.
Have a look, just women and children. Human.
They trying to leave the country as well.
Human.
So, and they don't feel secure here. So most important thing is need people security and the protection. What they don't find the protection here.
And Phil Robinson, I'm just wondering, from your experience and what you see on the ground, how this is playing out, this situation that has been called ethnic cleansing.
We're calling it ethnic cleansing. We agree with the Secretary General that there is ethnic cleansing taking place there. Also with the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Mr. Zaid, who also called it ethnic cleansing. What is happening is a scorched earth campaign that is designed to essentially stampede the Rohingya out of northern Rakhine State.
I didn't stampede. Okay. Okay, stampede.
And then sort of a cleanup operation where either army or local Rakhine Buddhists are setting alight the villages that have been abandoned. It's created a massive humanitarian crisis on the Bangladesh border, and it's created a wide swath of northern Rakhine State that no longer have a Rohingya there. That's the classic definition of ethnic cleansing. We're going to be coming out overnight with new information showing that we've 59 different villages that have been destroyed by arson. A number of those we have sensory data from environmental satellites. Others we have satellite imagery, which is still hard to come by because, of course, it is monsoon season, so that a lot of times we're fighting with cloud cover to get a clear picture of what's taking place. But
they can find out by satellite, right?
Yes.
the devastation is widespread, and it is obviously designed to stampede these people out of the country and to ultimately keep them out, because I think that there's very little likelihood without a concerted effort by the international community that Burma will ever allow these people to come back to the northern Rakhine State.
And Phil, you are hearing at the same time horrific stories of what's been done to men, women, and children?
Well, right now we're investigating at least 5 massacres where people have been, villages surrounded and people were slaughtered. In most cases, what we have found is that people were able to get away from their village. Sometimes they were shot at. Sometimes they were hit with mortars so that there were shrapnel wounds. But in many cases, it appears that they're trying to stampede people out of these areas. They're trying to get them on the run and drive them out of the country. That seems to be the major intent right here. And, you know, if that requires the military of Burma killing some people, well, obviously they're willing to do that. They need to be held accountable. There needs to be a global arms embargo on Burma. And there needs to be a suspension of all military ties that have grown up.
Why they're talking about embargo of weaponry to Myanmar? I think this is not so much effective, right?
Well,
like North Korea,
right.
like embargo, but not effective. But somebody going to, for example, China, they never keep promise with Westerners people. They
Right.
send the weaponry. What he's talking about is completely useless. China will not support them.
Like North Korea.
Right?
Right.
But always this kind of people talking about like this.
And because they don't
With the
understand
Burmese military.
the Chinese mind. Right? I mean, they think black or white. And if you commit your statement, we believe you. That's the thing, right? But however, in China, as you have mentioned before, there are 10% of false and 90% of truth.
What do you mean? What do you
In
mean?
China. For, the Chinese way of
Myanmar
communication.
military very close to Chinese military.
Right.
So even if those people, they are Westerners, try to embargo of weaponry to the Myanmar, but this is useless.
Right, useless because well, one.
But he's saying.
Well, he's saying yes.
Military in countries like Australia, the US, the UK, and others.
Wangzani, if we are seeing an ethnic cleansing unfolding here, what do you think the end game is?
Well, the end game is the
End game is closing down, right?
Yes.
eradication of the Rohingya as a group, and that takes us to a serious, discussion about why the UN is pussyfooting around this issue, using the word ethnic cleansing.
Do you know the word of pussyfooting?
I haven't heard it.
Which is ahistorical and completely, non-contextual, given the fact that my country and that my friends who are running the army, have a verifiable, inferable intent to destroy this group as a matter of policy. It's, we have in Burma, my relatives are in the army, different branches, and there is more than enough evidence to establish that the intent behind driving these people out is not simply to secure the geographic location, but to destroy them as a community and to destroy their history, erase their identity. That is the classic definition. However you define it, however we define the term genocide, either narrowly, legally, which you have...
Okay, they're talking about ethnic cleansing or genocide, whatever. But actually, the first start is Rohingya people attack police offices main location in Rakhine State. And this is the start, right? And what military doing is kick them out from this country instead of ethnic cleansing. Ask them to go out this country, right? Pushing to the next country. It's Bangladesh. So actually, my observation is not ethnic cleansing. Kick them out, burn house, and go out from this country. And if you don't want to go outside, we're going to kill you. Actually, kill them, right?
Well, good question. So why why did Rohingya people attack police this year?
Because there is some ISIS type of people encourage them to kick police and for attack them. So those farmers, not, I think those people are not clever, okay? Clever, stupid people.
I mean Rohingya.
Rohingya,
Okay.
stupid people attacked police. They didn't recognize what happened after that.
The consequence.
Exactly.
Consequence.
Consequently, so military people, okay, you're going to attack us. Okay, we're going to kick you out from our country. Okay, million people go outside from our country. That's their decision.
Then, to go back the story, right? What would ISIS kind of people benefit from sending?
Oh, okay, good question. This is what I'm so this member is somebody trap Miss Aung San Suu Kyi. Trap Miss Aung San Suu Kyi. Take his position out from government. So they're going to do something here, and Aung San Suu Kyi will going to be criticized in the world. Then military people expect her out. Maybe she's going to support for Buddhist people, or maybe she's going to support their Buddhist means their ordinary people instead of Rohingya. And but just the military people try to prepare trap for her. She just military never thought Aung San Suu Kyi will going to support Rohingya because she is very strict Buddhist. So actually she did do that, but she just very heavy criticized from the world, and Myanmar cannot get any subsidy from the world. United Nations, America, any other country, just stop it. So she was going to be isolated. So this is military intention. My observation.
Okay, so from your observations, the military people kind of had a secret communication with ISIS kind of group.
Not relating ISIS kind of group. This is just kind of military. Not ISIS. It's kind of just looks like a terrorist, but not terrorist. Military just kicked, encourage them to attack police.
So military is behind.
Yeah. But my question is, how come Aung San Suu Kyi never support Rohingya to protect from ethnic cleansing by military people? Why she don't do that? Because if she do that, okay, she tried to negative approach for Rohingya, and Myanmar cannot get any money from the world, right? I don't understand what kind of background she does have. This I don't understand. So I want to check again today after this video. Still, she is kind of same opinion that she have or not. My concern, or she going to change that because many like Tillerson of state. Secretary of State came to talk with her, or Pope came to talk with her. Many people came to talk with her, but still she does not change her mind. If she doesn't change her mind, it's stupid, right? It's crazy. But because I showed a couple of weeks ago her presentation in Washington D.C. And why she made a speech in Washington. She want to get money from the states, right?
Yes.
She wants to get money the rest of the world to their economically or their politically try to stabilize that country, right? But she does not change her mind. They don't get money from the world. So what's going on? Right? So this is what I don't understand. Okay, let's continue.
Attempt to do, and human rights organizations with lots of lawyers attempt to do, or sociologically, as the original framer of the term genocide, Raphael M. Kimball would want it. And so,
Okay, just the aspect is different. Those people talking about genocide or ethnic cleansing, this is different. The intention, military intention is different. The military is just only simply kick them out from their country.
Right.
Okay, get out of here. If you want to stay here, we're going to kill them. Not ethnic cleansing, not genocide.
Right.
So if you look at
Okay, well then tell me what you think is happening and what the military is trying to achieve here. What is it then?
that the military is trying to cleanse the entire area and
No.
restore it to the original state, which they think has no Muslims historically there. And so I think that, the expelling people, driving them, by the thousands, starting in 1978, with spikes of massive violence, killing thousands, raping hundreds of women, periodically, every 10, 15 years. The army has been doing it for almost 40 years. And if you look at the conditions, physical and biological conditions, under which the entire Rohingya population has been kept, the intent is to gradually...
Always, we must be careful about to investigate history. Like he is talking about, just the genocide in the past, or attacking the Rohingya in the past, and depending on situation is different. Okay, and the Rohingya doing something wrongdoing for the local Buddhists, many cases, and so need to consider Africa. The many cases that happen, so it's very difficult to which one is this. For example, Rohingya is wrongdoing or Buddhist wrongdoing. Both of their wrongdoing, but which one is which is very difficult to make in judge. Like especially for the president or like Aung San Suu Kyi or military head, which is wrong person is very difficult to make in judge. In Africa, it's many countries, 54 countries. Which one is wrong? Which one is good? It's very difficult to make judge.
It's not always same side.
If you're going to listen to the president's speech, and he said, I don't doing wrongdoing, and the interviewer said, you killed 10,000 people. He said, no, this people, terrorist people. He said, some cases terrorists, okay? Some cases not terrorists, not just ordinary civilian, they just president killed them. But how are you going to judge it? This is very difficult. You need to have a look many videos, then you want to make judgment. I never said some cases I misjudged, But you don't know. Even if you're going to live there, but very difficult to judge and the whole journalist is wrong or president wrong, very difficult to judge. It's the same. This is a good example you're going to study. Myanmar case is a good example. Okay, first of all, in the initial stage, military wrong, absolutely they're wrong. But just analyzing this situation, and 100% military is not wrong. Starter is Rohingya, right? He's like crazy people or some not educated people just attack police office. What kind of thinking they're thinking about that? This first step. And second is, as you know, you don't understand why Aung San Suu Kyi didn't support Rohingya or criticize whatever. He never speak out her opinion, right?
Physically destroy this community, biologically stop them.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Abdul Rashid here. I mean, what do you think?
That's the reason why she interrupted him.
If we are seeing a form of ethnic cleansing here,
she interrupted, right?
Yes.
All the Rohingya out of the country. What is going to stop
why
the
did
military
she
now?
interrupt?
Who is going?
Why did she interrupt?
Because this guy is speaking, cleansing, ethnic cleansing, and genocide, and repeating.
No, well, he's saying these words, but he's saying that they are pushing, my military friends, my military family members, they are...
She wanted to say, I understand what you want to say. Stop it.
Okay.
Right? Just simply, understand what you say. Stop it. So we're going to ask the other people's opinion. Okay? Simple.
To stop the military now. I mean, you've heard from the United Nations, and they've just expressed deep concern. Is that enough?
What we believe is we want to peace and peace in our country. We want to see the peace. So I think for the Burmese military and for the Myanmar government as well, is the most important thing to realize the voice of the international community and the tune of the word of the General Secretary General of the United Nations is very, very important. So they have to respect, and maybe it's very good to them to listen the voice of the international community.
But why would they listen to the international community when they know that nobody's going to come in and stop them?
I think if they're not stopped right now, maybe the situation going more worse than we are seeing. The tune is very different than others before previously they used. So I think Burmese military and the Myanmar government has to be understand the tune of the Secretary General. This used word is very, very important. That's why, and for the solution is the most important. First is to stop the current operation, very important, and secondly, and to open all the access of the humanitarian aid. People need to be feeded, and then people need medicine as well. And the third thing is to possible return of the people who already left the country and bring them with the peace and the security and with the dignity. That is very, very important. I think these are implementable.
Okay, but to pick up on what you said a little bit earlier on, why would the Rohingya return back to Myanmar? They know that they're not wanted. The situation is not likely to change anytime soon. Is there anything Aung San Suu Kyi, I just want to ask Phil this, is there anything, do you think that Aung San Suu Kyi can do? Does she have any control over the military? It doesn't seem to be the case.
There's a couple points here, I think. In terms of what can be done by the international community, there has to be pressure put on Min Aung Hlaing and the...
Somebody's hacking Apple ID.
In China.
In China? Oh my God.
They're the people who can stop this immediately. And what we're talking about here, to start with, is as I mentioned, a global arms embargo.
How are they going to find my password? How?
Because they will try many different approaches.
Oh, unbelievable.
I don't know.
No one being able to sell arms to Burma, but also going after any sort of program that has been introduced.
But very much advanced technology because they have big data, and Apple knows my lots of information, and I have access to like a kind of city in China, so they recognize somebody to access to my something like that, and then they make a caution for me. It's you or you? This is not you or you, right? They're going to deny this access, and they're going to ask me, right? Of course, I'm not living in that place.
No.
So I just cut it. And then, if so, they will not allow these guys to get into my site, right? So, okay, I don't accept. Then Apple will going to kick these guys out. But he asked me to change the password. No, I don't need to change. So, but no problem because these guys cannot get in, right? Because I denied.
Because you denied.
But he knows my password, but I denied. So Apple asked me to change your password. No, I don't change my password, but these guys cannot get in, right? Because broke up.
Well, through iCloud, no.
And he tried again, but this Apple will going to ask again.
Should, yes.
So it means, because reason is simple. If I'm going to change the password, many cases, many passwords will, okay, Apple ID or any other, Microsoft, any other password, they're all different.
Yes.
Right? 10 of those, How are you going to figure out which one is the most updated one? It's almost impossible. That's the reason why I don't want to change my password. And in this case, Nifty asked me, periodically asking password. Beforehand, I didn't know that, so I changed my password. So, but this, no, just periodically, just simply ask me password. Okay, I just put in the same password, they ask me again, put in the same password, ask me again, and 3 or 4 times, just accept it. Beforehand, I didn't know that. Okay, they denied this password. Maybe something wrong, this is the old password, I changed my password. It's no, not good. It's just only the keep going, putting same password. Then finally they accept. Strange.
Well,
Okay, let's continue.
To work with the Burma army. And there are a number of militaries around the world who have moved towards that, and they need to suspend those programs. More
But isn't
importantly,
there
I
just
think
too
they
much
need to be
money
looking
involved
at
here, Phil?
possible
Excuse me,
reintroduction
jumping in. I
of
mean,
economic sanctions.
you know, look at the US involvement there from a military point of view, the British involvement from a military point of view, the fact that China supports what is going on.
Well, I mean, if there is a global arms embargo that is proclaimed by the UN Security Council, China doesn't have to abide by that, along with Belarus and Russia and Israel and all these other countries that sell arms to the Burma army. But, you asked the question about Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi, of course, under the 2008 Constitution, doesn't have authority over security matters. That's given completely to the Burma army. But she does have a moral obligation to...
No, she doesn't, even if she has moral obligation, but Burma army control the constitution of specific area, like purchase of weapon or some control of minority people or some area, army control. Aung San Suu Kyi cannot touch it. Even if she tried to ask her moral obligation, whatever, she can touch it, right?
right.
Stand up. She has
So this guy doesn't understand.
Well, maybe for a global approach.
Even the global approach, but she can do it, and nothing at all.
Well, maybe not directly, but by raising a voice, maybe indirectly, such as bringing US or, I don't know, bringing UN more actively. She could raise a voice.
Actually, she doesn't move.
She doesn't.
Okay. This is okay. Later, I'm going to show you more updated, just with access to the Aung San Suu Kyi and what she's most recent attitude. She's going to change it, or she does not change it. Okay.
That while damaged is still fairly strong, she has strong popularity within the nation of Burma. Many people.
This is the point. Strong support by nation of Burma. Okay, but she is strong support from the rest of the world. But now she's completely lost the support from the rest of the world. But only the support the nation of Burma. Right?
Will still support her, and she needs to step up and differentiate herself from what the Burma army is doing.
Okay,
she
this
has
one.
to say, look, these things that they have done have gone much too far, and we are going to investigate, and we're going to allow the UN to investigate. As foreign minister, she is the person who makes the decisions about whether the fact-finding mission that was mandated by the UN Human Rights Council has the right to enter the country or not. She should say, yes, we're going to let them in, and we're going to urge them to go wherever they need to.
Okay, not let them in. Currently, not let them in. UN.
Right.
Also, not Human Watch Organization or United Nations. They do not accept them. They are coming to the Rakhine state.
Need to go to fulfill their mandate, and we respect the mandate of the Human Rights Council.
Okay, Abdul,
And if the army has a problem with that, well, then the army has to step up and resist.
Just a moment, I will check. No, Takashi is not coming here.
But then they're the villain, not her.
Why would Aung San Suu Kyi step in and side with the victims, whereas in fact she is very much in sync with the military on this, and she controls.
Somewhere in sync with. What?
Except like the two or three important.
I'm not saying I don't know if she's going to do it or not. I mean, she may not do it. But the question was, what should she do? And this is what she has that.
But by not condemning, let me bring in Abdul here. By not condemning, Abdul, is she providing cover for the military?
It seems like that. We believe Aung San Suu Kyi have some limited power because of the 2008 Constitution.
He knows.
And the military, 25% of military.
He knows.
All the parliaments. So she has a less control, and the three key ministry also in the hand of the military as well. But fact is, Aung San Suu Kyi is the de facto leader of this country. So she is the most responsible. She had to speak out loudly, whatever
Oh, he is
going
right.
against the human being. This is most important. She comes with the justice, and she
Right.
comes
She's
with
right.
the right word to use, and at least she needs to use to stop whatever going on is not according to international law. It's a violation of the international law.
Yeah,
So
he's
she
right.
has to be realized.
Okay, and Manga, I'm just wondering, I mean, I know that all the blame falls on Aung San Suu Kyi, but shouldn't it rather be the Commander-in-Chief, Min Aung Hlaing, who Phil spoke about a little bit earlier on, who controls the army, who Europe and other parts of the world lay out the red carpet for him? Shouldn't he be the one who is focused on the sanctions point of view, that he should be removed from his post? Until that happens, nothing's going to change in the army, which is anachronistic as well.
No, I know these guys personally. Like the guys, the top commanders in Min Aung Hlaing's office, like his senior deputies. They're my old friends, and it doesn't matter. You
He's a military guy.
No, his family is a military guy, and Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi faces. That's the name of the title. Never mind. That's wrong. That's.
He's a military guy.
I think he is a military side at least.
Close relationship.
Yes, his family members are military.
That is why I said this is genocidal, because the army has institutionalized the view that the Rohingya need to be removed on cultural and national security grounds from that. By any means possible, there should be no Rohingya left standing by their name. That is why, whoever general is in charge, doesn't matter. The army is on an autopilot in terms of the Rohingya, eradication. That is why it's so crucial. We understand that this is an institutionalized killing, and the world needs to respond appropriately.
Do you know the institutionalized killing? Institutionalized, daily killing.
Accordingly, and I think this case indicates a spectacular failure, once again, of both the Security Council and the international community. We have failed over and over again in these cases, mass atrocities, whatever their legal names, ethnic cleansing, crimes against humanity, genocide. The fact is, UN is failing spectacularly. World leaders are failing spectacularly.
And it seems that the world is standing by.
What his opinion? He just criticized the UN and so forth. What he said?
He
criticized military and UN and outside people. Okay,
While it's happening, and Phil, I'm just going to bring you in here. Excuse me, jumping in. I'm just wondering where this leaves Bangladesh. They are in a situation where they are taking in all the Rohingya, the most unwanted people on the planet, I think it's fair to say. People are talking about a mini Palestine. They don't want them there. They can't afford to have them there.
Well, Bangladesh actually has stood up in a very important way. It was gratifying to see Sheikh Hasina go down to the camps and speak with the people and speak publicly about the fact that these people are citizens of Burma. These people are persons who have to go back to that country, and that they have been treated inhumanely by the government of Burma.
Oh, this is what he's talking about. Former Hasina's opinion. Okay, he said, inhumanly. But at this time, she accepted she accepted those Rohingya people to come into the Bangladesh. While not permanent. Okay, we accept 1 million people coming to Bangladesh, but not allow them to. Yeah, exactly. So not allow them to permanently. So she going to talk with Myanmar government and need to prepare for try to ask them to going back to Myanmar, right? So still discussion was undergoing. I think a couple months ago. I don't know what now is what's going on.
Like Syria, basically.
Yeah.
Bangladesh needs all the support it can get right now, and I think that there has to be a priority from donor nations around the world to be as generous as possible with Bangladesh and with the UN agencies and international NGOs that are working there to be able to get the sort of food, medicine, basic shelter, and other essential elements.
But Bangladesh cannot provide food, medicine, because they are
Their-
very poor country.
Right, their economy is not that. Right.
Of disaster relief to those people, because we're in the middle of the monsoon season. We're looking at the possible outbreaks of very serious waterborne disease. They've got no sanitation.
I'll finish this first.
Okay.
A lot of people haven't eaten, for days. I mean, this is the disaster of the first order, and it needs to be dealt with.
Manu, we're shaking your
But
head.
over a longer period of time, I don't know what Bangladesh is going to do. Bangladesh
I
is
think,
going
like,
to
the
face a
best-
difficult situation because
I think Phil hit the nail on its head. Bangladesh has stood up after having put up with the Burmese denial of the persecution in Burma, and that the profound impact that Bangladeshi society has to bear as a neighbor. This is an international issue. This is not a domestic issue. And I think one of the best ways to back Bangladesh is not only increasing the funding and providing moral and diplomatic support, but to recognize and back. When Bangladeshi foreign minister 2 days ago, this is genocide, and Turkish minister has said it. Scholars after scholars have said it, because it's so crucial that the crime be named by its legal name, so that we could have a serious push to pressure Russia and China and others to come on board, or if not, we find solution outside of the UN Security Council. Security Council has not prevented or protected the innocent civilians in any genocidal situation since it was created in 1945 in San Francisco.
Okay, I'm going to bring you in now. And
What he's talking about,
What?
Bang? What's his
Well,
opinion?
genocide. So, okay, I'm confused with the word genocide.
Genocide is kill people, mass killing. Genocide is mass killing.
Mass killing.
Yeah, why he's talking about genocide? But actually, why he's talking about Bangladesh? Bangladesh is supporting those people here, right? But what is his opinion? Just listen again. I don't understand what you
That
mean.
Bangladeshi society has to bear as a neighbor. This is an international issue. This is not a domestic issue. And I think one of the best ways to back Bangladesh is not only
Bangladesh means support Bangladesh, right?
increasing the funding and providing moral and diplomatic support,
Right? Yeah, I understand.
to recognize and back. When Bangladeshi foreign minister 2 days ago, this is genocide, and Turkish minister
And this is the minister said,
scholars
not Turkish.
after scholars have said it, because
Oh, Turkish minister said something? Maybe.
Yes.
so crucial that the crime be named by its legal name, so that we could have a
okay.
serious push to pressure Russia and China and others to come on board, or if not, we find solution outside.
Okay, he's Bangladesh foreign minister. We need to support Bangladesh, and Bangladesh foreign minister said this is actually genocide, and Turkish minister said okay, criticize Bangladesh, Myanmar.
Yeah, this
So
is genocide.
we need to consider for how to handle Russia and China, not to support Myanmar military, sort of things that he's talking about.
Well,
right?
not to support Myanmar, but
He's talking
well,
about
to-
this is Russia and China
Yeah,
is
to
pressure.
no, to pressure
and
Russia and
China and others to come on board, or if not,
Yeah, come
we
on
find
board, right?
solution outside of the UN Security Council. Security Council has not
Right.
prevented or protected the innocent civilians in any genocidal situation since it was created in 1945 in San Francisco.
Okay, I'm going to bring you in now. Aung San Suu Kyi is not going to be turning up at the United Nations General Assembly gathering on Wednesday, and yet we are expecting a State of the Nation speech from her on Tuesday. Any idea what she's going to say? I mean, she must have something in her mind. She's going to have to address this situation. What do you think it is that she will be able to say?
this is really difficult. I don't know. I think that she should, if she is a smart politician. She says she's not a human rights activist. She says she's a politician. she should be figuring out a way to differentiate herself from what has happened, what has been done on the ground by the Burma Army. She should be trying to recognize the concerns of the international community and saying that, there needs to be actions taken. She needs to rededicate herself to the implementation.
She needs to rededicate.
Rededicate.
What do you mean, rededicate?
Dedicate. So, to dedicate.
Just one minute.
Focus. Dedicate again.
What do you mean?
So to dedicate yourself.
Contribute?
Well, kind of contribute. If you look up dedicate, you'll get it.
Okay, that's how I'm going to find it.
No. Can you delete RE? Just dedicate.
Rededicate. So let me dedicate. Right? Oh my God. I don't know this in Japanese.
Also, like similar to but more stronger definition than contribute.
Herself.
Of the Rakhine Advisory Committee report, which was the commission chaired by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. There's a number of things she could say.
Oh, by the way, Kofi Annan she is in charge for how to handle this issue this time. He is to take responsibility for the United Nations representative, Kofi Annan.
But she's going to have to condemn, in some way, shape, or form, the actions of the Burma Army on the ground, because quite clearly they are ethnic cleansing.
Well, okay.
And they, are likely to be labeled as crimes against humanity as well.
Before we draw to the end of the program, Abdul, I mean, the problem is, if you don't have someone like Aung San Suu Kyi, who do you have? Do you think that's her strong?
This guy he is not smart guy, and just sanction for the export weaponry, and what she's talking about, what kind of action for us for Aung San Suu Kyi. She's just not decisive. Okay.
In this card at the moment?
Then she's going to ask this guy.
What is the problem with us? We don't have only any class without Aung San Suu Kyi, but Aung San Suu Kyi already facing a problem, many kind of challenges as herself, 2008 constitution and some other element also. So, but I think international community must come up with the most support to Aung San Suu Kyi, make her more strong. I think 2008 constitution is a need to be. I think it's very important to change the 2008 constitution as possible. It's very much important. I think without 2008 constitution, if not changed, I think it's very difficult to have.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thanks very much to all my guests, Phil Robertson, Manzani, and Abdul Rashid. We look forward to hearing what Aung San Suu Kyi has to say. Thank you as well for watching. You can see the program again anytime by visiting our website, aljazeera.com. For further discussion, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/agent.
Okay, now it's
check for recent update.
Yeah, I'm going to Aung San Suu Kyi. What update?
Mm. 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, no new one.
How about 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago? Yeah. I just tried to find out 1 week ago.
Have you seen it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, just a moment. I just tried to find out. This is Pope, 3 weeks ago. But after that, 3 weeks ago, we watched it before. So no change. Or we had better access to the other keywords. 3 weeks ago, you had viewed it before.
Okay.
Oh, this is 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago.
Xi Jinping. No, this is just only 35 seconds.
Well, that's short.
Okay, just another access. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
Myanmar Army, okay. We will change access. Okay, no change.
No change.
Okay? So it means she doesn't change her
Can you
attitude.
get one more keyword? Can you look up Rohingya? Rohingya and...
Oh, okay, just one. Okay. Oh, here. Maybe you can find something, right? Okay, like this. Oh, this is 3 weeks ago. 38 minutes? Oh, 30,
Whoa.
38
minutes ago.
This is Turkey. Do you want to see this?
Yeah. Let's see this.
You like Turkey?
Rohingya news. Who's Rohingya?
Just
vision?
now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sorry, this is okay.
Maramanchar agapay hote higa hukumote osinno manush liu. Rohingya dihyani
Turkish. Unfortunately, Turkish.
No English. Can you go scroll down a little bit? Oh, it's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Wait. Can you scroll down? Scroll down. Can I see something at the lower part of the page?
What?
No. I want to read. So can you? What's in this area? Yes. Rohingya group from is one of the most. Rohingya, an ethnic group from Arakan, Myanmar, is one of most persecuted minority in the world. Past military junta delisted the Rohingyas from Burmese ethnic group just few years after independence of Burma. Since then, the Burmese military government has continued to exercise a systematic, discriminatory, and extremely abusive policy against Rohingyas. All renowned international human rights organizations and agencies have documented the suffering of Rohingyas. At the beginning of 2012, a group of Rohingya youth from various media backgrounds gathered with the view of creating a media channel to create awareness of Rohingya issues and address the problems related to Rohingya. Hence, on 21st April 2012, our vision, Rohingya Vision, was born. On 28th May 2012, when the extremist Rakhine Rakhine in collaboration with government officials started burning Rohingya houses, killing innocent kids, and raping helpless
Oh,
women.
this is all the information to 2012.
So
Okay.
Okay.
This is all.
This is yes. What?
Okay, this is all. And maybe
Well, it was explaining the
one day. How about this one?
Rohingya vision.
Oh, this is also one day, but the Rohingya Vision TV is not.
Well, you never know, can you?
Why don't you have a look? This is not English, but have a look. This is English.
So it's even broken, baby.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And also this one is also all the information.
Yeah, same.
Same, right? Oh, same. This all. So all this all the same.
Oh, that's 3 months ago. Never mind. 14 hours.
Oh, this is all
Al
the
Jazeera
same.
English. But that's Al Jazeera English.
Hi, I'm from UK. You're in the stream. We're live on Al Jazeera and YouTube.
Oh, this is
Today,
Africa.
Spain's
Africa.
Yeah, she is always talking about Africa.
Yeah, but can we go back to Myanmar? This is talking about Myanmar.
Oh, okay. But you beforehand you have had better check it.
Okay. Rohingya Press will update on the biggest stories of the news. It's on the slip off the radar. NSF is the first organization to try to authoritatively assess how many people have been killed during the crisis, estimating that 6,700 Rohingya were killed between 25 August and 24 September. Now, a deal between Bangladesh and Myanmar to start returning Rohingya to Myanmar by January 23rd has come in for criticism. So how can Rohingya live in safety? And where?
Maybe some progress, right? Okay, do you want to see this?
Yes. Yes.
It's always a question of secession on
Are you
everyone's
sure?
minds. What will happen next?
And I'm Malika Bilal. I'll be bringing our guests your comments. Also on today's show, Al Jazeera has a new podcast network, Jetty. Its first show, Closer Than They Appear, grapples with questions of American identity.
I tell you, this news is this lady handling Africa news.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
Okay.
I always coming on for the African
Which
news.
one? Both or left or right?
Both.
Both? Oh, okay.
But not all here. But let's have a
We'll
look.
meet host and writer Carvel Wallace.
But first, we return to a story that the stream has devoted several shows to this year, the Rohingya crisis. Though slipping off the news agenda, it is far from over. Take a look at this video from Al Jazeera's Mohammed Janju.
Doctors Without Borders estimate that 9,000 Rohingya died in the month that followed the start of the military crackdown in Myanmar, which began in late August. Most of the Rohingya who died were killed violently. The estimate contrasts sharply with Myanmar's government total. It said 400 refugees were killed that month. Doctors Without Borders says their estimate is conservative, and the actual total is likely to be far higher.
We have published the most conservative figures we had. If you look at the survey we did, we interviewed more than 12,000 people, which were randomly sampled from a population of 600,000.
The killing you heard about in that report has driven more than 600,000 Rohingya men, women, and children over the border from Myanmar into Bangladesh. Since attacks and security checkpoints
this is new
by a
one.
small
600.
Rohingya armed group prompted a brutal
Very big
crackdown on
figures.
Rohingya civilians
Yes.
by the Myanmar army. Now, Bangladesh and Myanmar have struck a deal to send the Rohingya back. But what would they be going back to?
Joining us, we have Brad Adams, Asia Director at Human Rights Watch, and Tanvir Chowdhury is an Al Jazeera reporter based in Bangladesh. Gentlemen, good to have you here. Tanvir, you sent us a couple of pictures. I want to show this one here. Where are we? What are we seeing? What's happening?
This is in Cox's Bazar, an area about a couple of kilometers from Kutupalong, with some of the biggest refugee camps are. When you take this access road, it's part of the Asian highway that has been
Do you understand?
Yes.
been built by the Bangladesh Army. Now, this goes right into an area called Tumru in another part, which is the zero line border between Myanmar and Bangladesh. and there's a refugee camp there, and this is the access point. Now, in the beginning of the influx in September and early October, thousands of Rohingyas took shelter along the roadside and any empty spaces they could find. And people were giving them clothes, the local people were handing them clothes and food. So what you see is scattered bunch of clothes all across these places because they abandoned the clothes they were wearing because they're torn or dirty. So people were giving them relief with clothes, and you see them in the streets. And people were actually taking shelter in these places, which is much more better now because since the Bangladesh army took over, it's far more stable now. The camps are organized. You don't see them in the street. But the situation in September and October was very dire, and the picture says a little bit about it, definitely.
So then we saw, of course, as you saw at the beginning of this show, this segment, there's been an agreement between Bangladesh and Myanmar to return some of those people living in Cox's Bazar. But the main question that we're hearing from our community members is what happens when and if they return. This is Waqar Dean, a former stream guest. He's the Director General of the Arakan Rohingya Union, and this is what he asked.
Once they are returned, they could be attacked again by security forces. And who are going to provide protection? Therefore, there has to be international involvement. Right to protect. There has to be a safe zone administered by the international community.
He is a person of some organization, Rohingya organization.
Union, yes.
And what he is talking about true. Even if Aung San Suu Kyi accepted the negotiation with Bangladesh, Hasina, and Rohingya people going back to Myanmar, but they were not going to be protected, right?
Right.
Additionally, there's
this is a new one, new news. This is true.
Citizenship issue has to be addressed. That's the central issue.
So Brad, he raised a number of concerns, but chiefly protection. Who will protect them?
Yeah. I mean, the international law is very clear. The returns have to be safe and voluntary. They can't be forced. And if you are a Rohingya in Bangladesh right now, as dire as your circumstances may be, why would you want to go back? Your villages have been burned out. The people who forced you out of Burma are still in power. And in fact, the Burmese government, both the military and civilian governments, are in complete denial about what they did. They are not taking responsibility. They're not saying, even though some rogue elements committed these crimes. The military launched an inquiry.
Oh my God, this is a whole tent. 500,000 people living there?
I don't know, 500,000. Well, it's
600,000.
Well, not in one place. There are many different camps.
Oh yeah, but this is one of those, right?
Yes.
Of itself, and surprise, surprise, it said that we didn't kill anybody. We didn't do anything. And there is a media campaign in Burma that is saying that this is all fake. This is fake news. We even had Aung San Suu Kyi's website say that allegations of sexual violence were fake news. And so I don't think anyone's going to be going back anytime soon. This agreement between Burma and Bangladesh is just
okay, they don't believe it, right?
Words on paper. It was cobbled together under pressure from China, which wants to be seen as a regional power broker, but no donor is going to support this. Now, if people do go back, it is absolutely essential that there be United Nations monitors on the ground, but we have to be very careful that they're not sent back to camps. The worst case scenario for the Rohingya would be to be moved from camps in Bangladesh where they have relative safety to camps in Burma where they would basically be living in detention or possibly even concentration camps where they would be at the mercy of the Burmese army.
Say if going back to this, it looks like concentration camp in Burma.
Yes.
Army or police at any time when they decided to go after the Rohingya again.
There's a tweet that Brad shares. He says, "I tried to go back," this is a quote, "to get the bodies of my children, but they were already on fire." Rohingya survivor from Chula Toli village. A new human rights report documents Burmese military's extreme methodical brutality. Tanvir, if I'm looking at you reporting here, what are the stories that you're telling now?
Well, I just got back from Cox's Bazar on 4th of December, what's interesting.
Cox's Bazar is
camp in Bangladesh.
Right.
Interesting to know that we spoke to many of the Rohingya refugees who recently came within actually early week of December and late November. They were saying that there's atrocities still going there. They're burning our villages, and there's at least 1,000 refugees crossed into Bangladesh even after this agreement signed between Bangladesh and Myanmar. And also,
this is November, December, right?
No, this is he's talking about December 4th.
Yeah, so it's been November. Still,
okay, yes.
Burning houses and right.
According to Nog, that there is a delegation here. They've set up a joint working committee in order to repatriate a lot of these Rohingyas within January or February of next year. It's too little time. If you ask most of the Rohingyas, they have very serious apprehension in going back immediately unless there's some sort of security guarantee, some sort of assurance. Can you imagine asking somebody to go back to their captors? They just came back. They were so traumatized, the children, the women, elderly men, and you're asking them to go back immediately with the assurance that Myanmar has assured them. This hardly builds a confidence on them to go back immediately. Definitely you cannot force them either. And the fact remains, even today Oxfam came out with a report that there's Rohingyas still coming across the border. There's still villages being burned, as Human Rights Watch also said. Since October, a lot of villages were burned. And the fact that Myanmar is assuring that we'll take you back is very contradictory to the situation on the ground, which seems to be still very volatile and critical for the Rohingya refugees coming into Bangladesh as well as over there.
Yeah, we have to remember there have been many outbreaks of violence against the Rohingya. 2012, there were 2 that forced many thousands to cross the border to Bangladesh. And every time there's an outbreak of violence, there's denial by the authorities. And those who stay are persecuted. The Rohingya who have remained in Burma are living in fear of their lives every single day. And the people who were burned out of their villages in 2012 have effectively been forced into detention camps that some call concentration camps. They can't leave the villages without permission. They can't move around the country. They're denied medical care, food. We have high infant and child mortality rates in these camps. And they have no future. They can't see a time when...
He's talking about Bangladesh, right? No future.
No. They're talking about concentration camps. So this is talking about 2012 when people who came back
to Myanmar.
And then they
concentration in their own country.
So Brad and Tanvir, we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you for reminding us that this is a story that may not be headline news, but is still incredibly important to the Rohingya. So we go from Cox's Bazar to take you to Catalonia in Spain, where crucial votes will take place on Thursday.
Catalonia, Spain? What's this?
No, I'm talking about the election, right, probably?
Yeah.
Have a look at this clip from Al Jazeera.
With an awkward smile, the Spanish Prime Minister enters the political battle.
Change the issues, huh?
I don't know.
Mariano Rajoy was here to rouse loyalists from his People's Party in the fight against the Catalan separatist movement.
So finish.
Thank you for defending Spain. Thank you for defending the Constitution. Thank you for defending the law.
According to opinion polls, Rajoy's party has no chance of winning Thursday's regional election. The challenge is to form a majority bloc with other anti-secession parties and stop Catalonia breaking away. There's also a high possibility separatist parties could score a majority.
So as you heard there, polls show that things are very close between pro-independence and anti-independence parties. The vote is the first since October, when the Madrid government cracked down on an independence referendum it had declared illegal and took direct control of the wealthy region. So what's likely to happen next, and how strong is the pro-independence movement 2 months on?
Joining us to discuss this, Sonia Aldoltz is a lecturer at the University of Barcelona, and Azria Alcine is a communications consultant and political commentator.
I want to start with our community. We got this from Andres on Twitter, who says, I think the result in Thursday's election will be crucial. This election has been called by the Spanish government and will be held under the most difficult of circumstances. Spain has imprisoned Catalan ministers
and force the president to exile. So with all of those facts there, Sonia, what is the mood like right now in the lead up to this election?
I don't know, it would be too much maybe for me to speak about the general mood. But
Yeah, it's completely different.
The tension after the police brutality and everything that we saw. The first week of October has gone a little bit low. Having people in prison, having people outside the country has left more like a feeling of disenchantment, sadness, I would even say. And yes, there is still a bit of anger against Madrid by
Oh, this is talking about
the population, but
Spain.
there's less tension. That said, people are in general a bit cautious about what is going to happen on Thursday. As you just said, polls haven't been very clear. It depends on who makes the polls. The results are very different. And the general idea is that probably, as you just said, pro-independence and unionist parties are going to be kind of very, very...
Actually, they ordinary people negative action for the independent because of the many company escape from Catalonia, right? They were losing money and they were getting poor, so then, oh, this is finished, right? So, okay, we're going, you don't need to have a look more, okay?
No.
Okay, this is a little bit advanced information they gave us. And next January, he's talking about next January here. They come to for Christian because it's difficult to force them back to Myanmar. It takes time, and without international supervision for those people, it's so risky.
What I'm what caught my eye is January 23rd. So the deal between Bangladesh and Myanmar to start returning Rohingya.
Yeah, start returning too early. So that's the reason why. How can the Rohingya live in safety and where? Right? And also, is house already burned down and where do they live? So this is they need to going to make some house or something. Otherwise, they cannot going back to Myanmar.
But maybe that's where China may come in.
China?
To build the house.
No, China never do
Business?
that. No. China is very close to military, so military
you're right,
without
right.
acceptance of that, they don't do that. So this one is, I think, a little advanced. So I'm going to Aung San Suu Kyi. She does not change her mind yet.
No.
And no video, so the situation has no improvement, right? So now we're going to start. They're going to talk between Bangladesh and Myanmar, but no progress. So, but as you know,
and no UN. UN is not actively participating.
Why?
Right, exactly. Why? So maybe I know why. UN. Well, China have a strong voice in UN.
No, but
right?
Guterres is Secretary General, and his moral leadership, and he should take some action, right? Instead of judgment for the United Nations. But he can speak up.
But the
cannot take action.
Probably it's all political issues inside UN, right? And it's supposed to be a peaceful United Nation, but Russia has a voice, China has a voice.
How about Russia? Russia is they are not relating to Myanmar military. Just they don't take any action for Myanmar. China is favor for military of Myanmar, so they are against this kind of support for Rohingya.
Because if Russia come in, what benefits Russia?
No.
There's no benefit.
No,
for Russia.
no. Russia is if possible, they're going to export weapons to Myanmar military.
If embargo comes in.
No. Embargo. If Russia will move, they're going to opportunity to sell weapons.
Yeah, but that's the military side. That's the same with China, right?
No. Always in Asia Pacific is Russia and China beat against each other for
Yeah.
selling weapons.
Okay, to compete.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
compete.
Russia has capable to sell weapons to Myanmar, but nothing other than that.
Then why would Myanmar military will choose Russia over?
Oh, because Myanmar is a long relationship with China.
Right. So
In the history, so the Myanmar military is very easy to doing business with Chinese military. So
Right.
for Chinese government.
So Russia
And
can't
Aung San Suu Kyi, I show you that Aung San Suu Kyi was Xi Jinping.
You don't want to arrest one person and
So here, Aung San Suu Kyi meet with Xi Jinping, right?
Mm.
Do you remember?
Yeah, 35 seconds.
Yeah.
That's 2 years ago.
Xi Jinping said China and Myanmar have
That's
a common destiny. He proposed that the two countries continue to work together and honour the bilateral friendship at...
No, listen.
This
one.
Yes.
This one.
Yes.
Xi Jinping also met with Myanmar State Councillor and leader of the National League for Democracy, Aung San Suu Kyi, on the sidelines of the dialogue in Beijing. Xi said the CPC and the Chinese government would look to extend their friendly relations with Myanmar. Suu Kyi thanked Xi Jinping for the invitation to the dialogue and vowed to deepen cooperation between their respective parties and governments. Xi Jinping also met with Prime Minister Samdech Hun Sen, head of the Cambodian People's Party. Both agreed to strengthen their ties as next year they celebrate 60 years of diplomatic relations.
Also, earlier you mentioned about Africa, right? I mentioned about Turkmenistan and mentioned about their massacre, and then you responded with Africa, right?
Yeah, Africa is a massacre. It's crazy many.
Right. So then let's not talk about Africa, but let's talk about China, because basically China is doing the same thing as Africa is doing, right?
No. China never doing kind of ethnic cleansing or supporting for those. They never touch any political issue.
But Turkmenistan, they were...
No, China. Never China touching for kind of political issues. China always dealing business, only business outside China.
Then who? That's my first only business. Then what is? Then for example, what is China doing with Senkaku?
Not political issues.
Then how about
the Senkaku Island or South China Sea? They believe those areas are their territory.
And
their territory, not ethnic cleansing, not genocide. It's kind of, they never touch political issues. But don't misunderstand. Senkaku Island and South China Sea, they believe those are their territory.
But which means what they want to do in long run, what they want to do is prepare Chinese men and women, live there, and marry,
Taiwan,
and live there,
Okinawa,
and marry,
yeah,
and which means ethnic cleansing.
No,
because
never.
Invading
Don't misunderstand. Don't misunderstand. China outside China. Okay. Africa is outside China.
Yes.
And Myanmar is outside China.
Yes.
But South China Sea is inside China. Okay. Inside China. This is their territory. Their country.
Since when?
No. They say that. Okay. Not when. They define South China Sea is their territory.
Because they want it.
No, they wanted it. Historically, they just 100 years ago.
So if you say historically, then I have to ask.
No, don't think about Japan or India or some other country, Chinese government believe this is their territory. Okay, Chinese don't believe Myanmar is there, this is not their territory.
Okay? No. Myanmar?
Or for example, Indian border. And Indian border, they believe that border is their territory. They try to battle against the Indian military, okay? And also they try to battle against Vietnam Navy people on the territory. They believe this is just kind of their battle against those countries. They believe this is their territory. Any other country don't talk about that.
So then, if with territory, so that's
no, just don't misunderstand. Chinese, government going to take action outside their country, never for political action.
But okay, but then how big is their country? You're saying
okay,
that
China territory,
Japan
Okinawa,
is...
no, not Japan. Okinawa and Taiwan, the South China Sea, and part of Indian border, and part of some those southern area and west side area is still some conflict for the territory. That's all.
But isn't that too big?
No, not too big. This is they believe that. That must be considered for that. This is China government. They never go outside their country politically. Okay, only economically they're going to do something for outside their country.
So Turkmenistan, that's part of their country, you're saying?
China do something wrong?
Turkmenistan, China, well, according to what I heard, it's in 1990s they had a big massacre.
China did? Okay, believe this is their territory.
But if you look at the history of China, like 680 Min, Turkmenistan.
We're supporting. You said massacre?
Yes. So if you look at massacre,
no kind of information we have.
Maybe because it's all erased. In China's massacre in Spratly Island is different.
Are you sure?
I heard it from the head of the Turkmenistan person who represented.
No information. They have good relation with Turkmenistan. They have here. And they have good relation anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, China helps the silk production. Turkmenistan, this one. Right, you can have a look. This is a good relationship with each other. Right?
Exquisite and durable. Silk production in Turkmenistan is seeing a revival. Thousands of years ago, it came into the country on caravans traveling along the old Silk Road.
Right?
Now, silk products made here...
Okay, why don't you check it? I think, I don't know that. Maybe you're right, but I don't know that.
Okay.
If you have any fact, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, today is finished. Oh my God!
Already?
Oh my God! This is Myanmar. Still, we cannot get in the talk. And also, I need to prepare the next week advertisement. This supposed to be Iraq again. Oh my God! But good. This is Myanmar is very good study we did, right? Anyway, right?
Yes.
But Turkmenistan issues, I think you try to check it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe you right, but
because I was
just have a look.
Hmm? Oh,
1,000 yen.
What?
Don't touch it, okay?
Okay.
Don't touch it. Don't
No,
touch
okay,
it.
okay. Wow.
Very risky. Just 1,000.
Yeah.
Professional shape it.
Where did you find it?
This is that place. Always I'm looking for the guys coming there to fix it. And I paid for them 1,000 yen. This is very, very risky. That one. Cut your finger.